Hello, it is 2:32 p.m. on December the 31st, 2020, here in Salem, Indiana. Let me turn this up. I want to talk a tad bit about this crystalline grid. I've heard of it while on my journey that there is like a crystalline grid around the earth, and it mimics like the flower of life. And when I first heard about this activating the crystalline grid and raising, all that stuff, I thought it sounds kind of out there. Hello. Hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello from my heart to yours. Thank you for joining me. I'm not an expert on this either. I'm not. Okay, I'm not. I'm not an expert on it. There's people who are experts on it, and they don't have degrees, but they have a lot of research on this subject. I'm not that person, but there are a lot of people who know this. Hello. Yeah, so the crystalline grid right here. I've heard about it. You've heard about it. And what this right here is, look at this. This is an ancient Egypt pyramid sphinx flower of life. And it's supposed to represent, like, the crystalline grid is supposed to be one and the same. That's what it's supposed to be, one and the same. And this is like an ancient manuscript right here. So I really do think there is something to this. Well, thank you, BXE. Yeah, I think there is something to this. I really do. You got the link from your page from the iswa.gsfc.nasa.gov. I got that. I got that down pat. Okay. Well, I don't know how I ended up here on the crystalline grid and the flower of life. You have probably heard of it, and you may think, well, there's not much to this, but I think there is something to it. Okay, I really think there's something to it. What's really neat that this crystalline grid, it like aligns with the pyramids and stuff. And, look over here, you all. I'm going to do this right here. I'm going to try to get myself over here. It runs through certain strategic areas is what it does. It runs through certain strategic areas. It actually also, I can't get that right there. It's supposed to run, it also runs through Washington, D.C. This grid line, these ley lines that encircle the earth, okay? And they're ancient. They're ancient ley lines is what they are. So, yeah, look at this. So you can go here and you can see all this kind of stuff. You can, like there's like a big flower of life. And I really thought nothing of it. I thought nothing of these. But I myself, I have mapped out all the ley lines in my yard with my dowsing rods that I made, copper dowsing rods. I've mapped out where they intersect, where the main ones are. I've mapped them out in my house. I've even moved some, the stress lines, the geopathic, the stress lines that are supposed to be harmful. I moved every one of them outside my friend's house, outside of the house into areas where they would not be at all the time. You can do that too if you have the frequency within you to move those ley lines. You can move them, okay? You can. I have done it, and I'm sure other people have done it. I'm not talking about NASA. Okay, I'm not talking about NASA right now. I'm talking about this crystalline grid and how it is similar to the flower of life. And there's a lot of important structures on Earth, including the Vatican, that go along a certain grid line. But what got me to that, I don't even know how I got to this, you all. I saw some kind of news story about Yemen. is what I found. And I don't even know if I kept it right here. I don't. I don't know what I found. There was like some kind of a bombing in Yemen. When this airplane landed, I think it was like the new delegation of the government, there was like a bombing and stuff. And I thought, Yemen, that sounds familiar. That sounds like the Gulf of Aden. Now, you all have heard of the Gulf of Aden. I'm sure you've heard of the Gulf of Aden. I've heard of it. Let's look right here. Look at like this. The Gulf of Aden. So let me just flip this around. See, this is a incognita blog spot. The Gulf of Aden, a magnetic vortex in the Gulf of Aden, Stargate. So if you all remember anything in the news about the Gulf of Aden and the Yemen, the Somalia, the pirates, okay, all the militaries of the world, all that who wanted to, sent all their warships over there to fight these pirates, these Somalian pirates in the Gulf of Aden. I'm thinking, you know, that sounds really strange. You sending all your military ships over there, and you just got them in the waters along the Gulf of Aden. That's what I'm thinking. I said, there's got to be more to that. Well, it just so happens to be that there was like a blue moon, and it activated a crystalline grid in that area, which opened a stargate, an actual stargate in the Gulf of Aden. And you know, Yemen it's been turmoil for a long, long, long time. And even when the Russians went there, they couldn't win the battles. They couldn't win nothing because they were up against some unknown force. It was even reported that, you know, they're fighting, like Earth has been invaded by an unknown force. But nonetheless, the Gulf of Aden in Yemen, that whole area, there is UFO activity over there. I'm sure some of you all have seen it because we've got ships over there because they've all got an interest in that area. And it says that during one of the blue moons, the Stargate was opened. It was activated. It changed, is what it said. It changed. And it opened a portal. And thank you, CERN, for helping do that. Yeah, CERN plays a big role in all of this stuff also. But I've also read that underneath the Gulf of Aden, there are tunnels. There's underground bases where the Anunnaki are at, messing with the DNA and stuff. And there's people like the MK Ultra people. They have been down there, but after their missions are done, their memory is totally wiped clean until like 50 to 60 years later. Around this Gulf of Aden, underground in these bases of the things that they've seen and done. It takes 50 to 60 years later because they got implanted with a chip in their head. And then it all comes back to the memory in the Gulf of, well, what they've done, this MK Ultra, there was some kind of a project that went on, some ultra secret thing. But it does say that, look at this. It looks like this vortex, like if you read this right here, there's a connection, there's a vortex, and this is the exact start of the return path of the Anunnaki and the Nephilim as they move toward Mesopotamia, according to Zechariah Stitchin in ancient Egyptian lore. Theories are a dime a dozen, but they say in this area right here, they opened up a portal, is what's happened. And there was no pirates invading ships. Okay, I think it's much, much more, but there's been incidents of something happening there, and this vortex opening up. It opened from the bottom of the floor is what it did. It opened up from the bottom of the sea floor, you all. Back in, let's see, it says, the vortex, a magnetic vortex formed in the bottom of the ocean at the Gulf of Aden, and it was investigated until 2008 when it started to expand. It started to expand around the time that CERN, SHC, started to experiment, and the U.S. asked for help to keep it safe. So they had the Navy ships out there guarding these three great big long things that were underneath. They were guarding them. They were just ships set out like magnetic things, is what it said. And they say China has sent several ships there. And this is an old article. Okay, you can, when you go do a Google search, you can put certain time frames in there, and you can pull up articles only within that specified time frame. But yeah, they say that they had activated the crystalline grid. A crystalline grid got activated, and the Stargate started to form, open into another dimension. And you know, CERN, they want to, want to see something about CERN. It's kind of gross. But I did pull up a video of CERN. You know, I mapped out CERN. Well, how this happened too. Let me talk to you about this. Let me talk to you about this. I heard about this right here. A sinkhole swallows 21 people. Sinkhole swallows houses, and 21 people are missing. This just happened December 31st with the landslide in Norway. Okay, and I'm thinking, okay, I know that's where the spiral. The Norway spiral occurred, and it occurred in Norway, and I'm thinking, okay, that sounds familiar because that's where CERN was at. So, you can type it in. You can type in here, and you can see where these places are, where CERN's underground facilities and stuff, where they happen, okay? And CERN also had another incident. They had an incident, it's by Oslo, okay, is where it's at. They had another incident back in 2016 where they had another landslide. They had a landslide back then, but now they got this great big giant hole in Norway. Great big giant hole. Look at this. And I'm sure CERN is underneath there. The last time they had something, they said a beaver did it, or a weasel. But look at this. This is Norway. It literally, it's you can find this article right here, sinkhole. And CERN, I think CERN's up to stuff again. I really do think they're up to things happening. They're doing stuff. Yeah, if you're in Norway and you're watching this, this is how big it is. They encompass it right here. This is the Large Hadron Collider at CERN, is what it's at. Let me see this. Yeah, this is kind of creepy right here, and I do want to play this. This is a ceremony back in 2016 when CERN opened up the longest rail tunnel in a theatrical parade. Let me see. I want to make sure I got this volume turned up. I want to watch this because I haven't watched it all the way through, but I think we can watch this. Let me see if I can enlarge it. I hope they don't play a commercial. This is kind of sick. It really is. Where is my cursor? You know, they have hidden my... Slow down, Gina. You can find your cursor. I can't find my cursor on here. Okay, let's look at this. This is their ceremony for their underground rail. And I can't turn this sideways, so I apologize. They're celebrating their achievement. It's like, they're kind of gross. They really are gross. So they had their ceremony, and let me turn this light on, you all. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me, but they're up to no good. That's what CERN is up to no good at all. They are, but you got CERN, you've got the Gulf of Aden, where they say UFOs are, where they say there is a Stargate to parallel dimension, another world, open up another portal to where these things can come through. I believe we are under attack. This world has got turned upside down overnight, it seems like. And you know, they've been keeping everything hush hush in the Gulf of Aden. Then the Yemen and Somalia pirates raiding the ships. Come on now. You know, no Somalian pirates are going to get on a great big carrier, a military ship, and raid it. You know that's not happening. They're not doing that. It's something much deeper going on, something much more sinister is taking place, and they feel we can't handle the information. That's what they're feeling. They feel we can't handle it in the Gulf of Aden. But it says that this crystalline grid was help activate a portal, a stargate, and it's ancient. It's got ancient origins, the flower of life, and I never believed in it before, but I'm sure there is something to it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have all this information on ley lines, pyramids built on certain ley lines going across certain parts of the world, all of it. This is so much more going on than what we realize, and I'm not an expert on this. I'm not. But I know a tad bit about ley lines. I can move them, and I can map them out with my rods. So there is something to them. There really is. You got to be careful too, because they can let in energies. You don't want energies let in. You really don't. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we've got to remain positive because there's just too much going on in the world. There's way too much going on in the world. And we're not being told the half of it. And I think all these wars and stuff with the South China Sea, that could be even much more to it than what they're saying. They do have cover stories that they put out there and they shove down our throats. But I believe that's what they are, cover stories, because I think there's something, a great big picture to it. But yeah, if you know anything about Yemen, it's barbaric. It is, and I don't mean to be derogatory, but it's awful there. But we got ships in the Gulf of Aden, is what we've got. You have been feeling your vibe go up and up, have I? It's like life is like a roller coaster, is what it is. It's like a roller coaster. You have your ups and you have your downs. You really do. But there's something going on. So yeah, and you know you can't zoom up on Yemen anymore. You can't. I went to Google Earth and I tried to zoom up on these and said you can't. You can't look at it. But they sure got a lot of stuff going on in the news. They really do. Let me, can I? Oh, I'm not even on there. Yeah, if you type in Yemen on the internet, what's going on in Yemen? Yemen. Well, I've got to get rid of my thing. I can't do it right now. Yeah. Well, no, anybody can, you can get on here and you can do your research, okay? You can, but there's UFOs in Yemen, and there's big old magnetic spiral, and the crystalline grid has been activated, and things do happen, and I'm not an expert on it. I'm not. I really am not. Yemen, look, Yemen airport bombing. It just happened. They bombed the Saudi-led coalition. So I'm thinking these Saudi-led coalition strikes Yemen. I'm thinking there's so much more about Yemen than what we think there really is, because it's deadly. They let these people get off the airplane, is what they did. Look, airport, a new government arrives in Yemen, is what it was. And I can't see this because it's not letting me. 22 people killed, 50 wounded in attack at the airport in the southern Yemen city of Aden. And you know, they say they picked the Gulf of Aden because that's where the Anunnaki is going to come back. The Anunnaki, the ruler, I guess. Yeah. And that's a cover story too. It's all a cover story. I can't get into these at all, you all. Look at this. This is weird. I can't click into it. It won't let me. Isn't that weird? I can't watch the videos. I can't watch anything on here. Even if let me see if I can, okay, I can do it right there, maybe. Yeah, there's no video to watch, I guess. They're not going to let me. Look, they're going to hide everything so we can't find out what's going on. You Phil, thank you for that. I missed something. Thank you, GM Sare. Thank you. Yeah, so there's something. It's the extraterrestrials is what it is. Look at this. This is horrific. Innocent bystanders is what it is. No, I don't want to do that. Innocent bystanders. As soon as they got off the airplane, they let their bombs off is what they did. And now I can't see no video of it. Every feel you feel down, you feel like you're a washing machine. Well, my mother had one of those washing machines that had the rollers in it that you, the water would just wash your clothes, and then you stick them through the wringers and it squeezes the water out. That wouldn't feel good. Maybe crisis actors, I don't know. Yemen, this thing with Yemen has been going on for years and years and years and years, is what it is. For years. There's something much more to it. You can even type in Yemen and the Gulf of Aden, if they even, yeah, they blocked you too, and you can't look at much of stuff. You can't really look at much of anything on here, Gulf of Aden. But it's a central location, and the grid line goes across that area too. UFOs and aliens. I think that if there are aliens, they've got inside the people, the spirits of them. It's kind of gross if you think about it. It is. Yeah. See, look at this. So you see 7 Gulf of Aden and some vortexes, alien database. The U.S. is working with aliens on Mars and stuff. So you can't really find much on it now. Gulf of Aden, warship battle the Stargates. Some of these, if you click into them, they don't let you click into them. They don't. And that's all I want to say. All of that right there. The crystalline grid got activated, and a Stargate opened up in the Gulf of Aden. And it's really nothing we can do about it. It's beyond our control, I think, because things have got to play out. The alien theory will be a great delusion to discount the existence of God. Well, angels exist. They do exist. Angelic beings exist. There are dark beings that exist. There are bad entities on the earth and under the earth. Okay, there are. But in the end, the light will win out. The good will win out in the end. It will. You just got to keep your hopes up, because we're living in a strange world now. And how did we get here at this period of time in our life? I don't know. I don't. But we're in it. It's like a big theater, a great big theater. Yeah, we're going to win out in the end. It's going to get rough, but we just got to stay tough. We do, and just hold our ground is what we need to do. Yeah. Well, I don't think there's. It's not the question of there can be an alien invasion. I think they're here. There is a type of species, I think, down there in that Gulf of Aden, and they're probably not nice species. That's what I'm saying. They're probably not nice. Yeah. Oh, my goodness, yeah. I don't think it's Project Bluebeam in there either. The ancient Egyptians talked about that crystalline grid and the flower of life, and not just them. All these other ancient cultures, they had them, that design imprinted on things. So with that being said, I probably am going to be going because I'm done talking. I really don't have much more to talk about at all. But I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Yeah. Yeah, there is an inner earth. Oh my goodness, and there's hybrids among us. Yeah, Happy New Year. If it's New Year where you're at, Happy New Year. Yeah, thank you all so much. Thank you for coming on here. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Yeah.